Hi again, everyone. Welcome inside. It is another edition of the Adam Jones podcast. We're presented by the Baltimore Banner. I'm Jerry Coleman. He's the former five-time All-Star Adam Jones. And today, AJ, we have reached episode number 90. We're going to recap the Orioles' brief postseason and provide some analysis, maybe some comfort on a frustrating conclusion for Orioles fans and players. In addition, we'll discuss the death of baseball's all-time hit leader, a guy who was banned from the sport, Peter Edward Rose, and we'll take a look at some of the other playoff series that are still going and the rest of the baseball postseason, plus a chance to win a $50 gift card from Lido Pizza by reaching out during the podcast via Socially Speaking. Well, we decided to go without a guest this week because the Orioles just got swept out of the postseason for a second straight year. We're going to focus on that. And our exclusive guest, sponsored by Jimmy's Famous Seafood, look who it is. It's Adam Jones, Jimmy's Famous Seafood, where many of the local athletes on both of the professional sports teams dine, and an establishment that was all over Sunday Night Football as the Ravens beat down the Bills, if you were paying attention, Adam.
I was going to mention that right there. That was sick to see them. I wanted some of those rolls and those crab bushels. Oh, man, I told you I fell all in love with crabs again. So,
yeah, even in Barcelona, they look great. All right. What didn't look great was this end of the Orioles postseason. Not good. Second straight year swept out of a playoff series by a team they were favored to beat. And now the postseason losing streak goes back to 2014, as you're well aware. 10 straight games, 41 straight years without reaching the World Series. They scored one run over 18 innings and had 11 measly hits. They struck out 23 times as well. Let's begin there. Your thoughts on the way they just weren't able to get the ball going off the bats at all?
Well, first off, no hit in the big leagues is ever measly. Let's start with there, okay? And also, you got to tip your cap to the Royals. I mean, Cole Regans, who was an all-star, has had a fantastic season, got the ball. Seth Lugo, who arguably had the best road numbers in all of baseball, had a fantastic year. His age 34 year, had his best year. You got to tip your cap to those guys. Those are guys who, especially Lugo, who's been around, he's a veteran, and Regans, who has plus stuff. To me, when it comes to the playoffs, I talked to Sabathia about this, a guy who's been in the playoffs a lot. He said, man, when you're on the bench and stuff like that, just like as a fan or something, you want to get something to root on, every hit, every walk is a rally. And if you can mitigate that, especially the first guy of the inning, then you can slow down the team. If there's 2 outs and it's a base hit, you can slow down that rally because you just need 1 out. But it just didn't happen. And you have to tip your cap, man, to the Royals overall, just the style of play. When I was watching the series, it reminded me obviously of 2014 because different style offenses. Obviously, the Orioles are second in baseball in home runs. The Royals are one of the top teams in just dynamicness and speed. So are the Orioles also. But the Orioles are obviously a little bit more hairier when it comes to the long ball. And the Royals are just contact-oriented, put the ball in play. That was the 14-15 Royals. Our team back then, we were the hairy guys, and we had more swing and miss than the Royals did. So in the playoffs, when you have more swing and miss, unfortunately, that it's not good. But again, it's you got to tip your cap to the Royals. I mean, I remember we had Herrera, Wade Davis, and Holland. I mean, no one hit them guys for those 3-year spans. And at the back end of the bullpen of the Royals, Urseg, great story. And they're just nasty. And it wasn't easy. It's not like they put the ball on the tee and say, hey, everybody, here you go, hit it. I mean, I watched the games. It was some fantastic pitching. And I can go back to really one at bat with McCann. And, it was the double that Melendez overran, and then the single by Mullen. So you got first and third. And that sequence right there, that was probably, if you pinpoint a sequence, that right there was the game to me. It went changeup at the bottom of the zone, nasty. If you hit that ball, you only foul tipping it off, and it's a foul tip off the end of the bat. There's no contact in that pitch. Great pitch. Fastball up and in at 96, right here up and in. If you foul it off, it's probably hit your knuckle. Perfect pitch. The next one was an absolute just bastard of a curveball in the dirt. And you can't tell me that, oh, you just take that right there. That sequence is getting out every hitter. And like, I can't say every hitter, but it's getting out a lot of hitters in baseball. That was a fantastic sequence. It was disgusting. And tip your cap. Then he came back with Gunner, and you got lefty. Like, yeah, it's tough, man. The playoffs are tough.
Our cap, but the Orioles need to look in the mirror because there were some issues on their side of the dugout. I mean, Arias and Mullins with mental base running miscues in game one. Cedric hit a ball off the right field wall where he should have been standing on third base instead of second. He would have scored that inning. He admired the ball a little too long, unfortunately. Cedric also provided the only run for this team in this series. I want to point that out. And then afterward, in game two, after the bases were loaded in game two and nobody out, they were unable to produce a run. That was the ball game right there for me.
I mean, again, you can pinpoint a lot of different scenarios, but you know what? I mean, I'm gonna speak on the Royal side on this particular point is the at bat by Bobby Witt Jr. in the first inning. He's going to finish second and probably third in MVP, unfortunately. In fantastic year, but he's going to finish third in MVP. His at bat showed, I think, just baseball that he wants to be on this stage. That was a Derek Jeter. This is my team. This is the situation I need to be in. This is my situation to get the big boy up. I don't need to drive this guy in. I need to do my job. That was an old school Derek Jeter at bat. Yeah. He got that ball was 93, 94, all right up in there. And what did he do? Just grinded it to second base, old school Derek Jeter at bat right there. And to me, I think the baseball world seen that because we know he can drive the ball at the ballpark. We know he can, like you said, later in the game, he beat out a hit. He had, he can come up clutch, his crazy speed. That right there for a guy with all the tools in the world to show you that, look at, hey, I need to do this because this run right there, that guy needs to be in this scoring position. Now, if you threw him a pitch away, maybe he might have driven it that way and for a base hit for himself. But his intent to go that way just showed me, just like as a baseball fan, it's like baseball, old school baseball, we still got some guys that still play the game. It's still not the analytics side where, hey, you got 3 cracks at it, just have it go. You still got some guys who are still in tune to the game, and that right there is playoff baseball. If you do those, you have to do that in playoff baseball. They always say don't give outs away. I think I'd rather have a first men on third base with 1 out. I think that would be the scenario I could live with over and over and over again. You would never tell me different.
There is no MVP for a 2-game series, but I think it's indisputable that Bobby Witt Jr. was the best player on the field for those 2 games. And the thing that irks Oriole fans is, of course, he was taken after Adley Rutschman.
See that now that right there, they wanted to say that last year. I mean, they want to say, "Oh, we took the right guy." They took the right guy. Both teams took the right guy. You're not wrong either way. I mean, look at it this way: the Orioles got Adley Gunner, the Royals got Bobby Witt. I don't know who their other pick was, and I don't know who their second pick was. Who's their second? If you can give me their second pick, I think.
Not off the top of my head. Nope.
Then it's not measurable. You know what I'm saying? It's not, because if you picked Bobby Witt number 1, I mean, if you picked him number 1, that means you got a shortstop. Then you probably aren't thinking about getting another shortstop. You see how the draft goes? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You don't. But again, the draft, you have a lot of picks, so you could take back-to-back shortstops. It does work like that too. But if you took a shortstop, you're probably going to look at an arm, or it changes your perspective. It just changes the whole entire draft for you. So you can, it's not that case where it was with the Drew Brees and the Eli Manning that drafting the LaDainian Tomlinson and moving all those guys around. It wasn't that kind of trade. It couldn't even been like that, or a draft. I think, obviously both, they picked the right guys. Bobby Witt fits that city, and I think Adley fits. Well, I know Adley fits Baltimore is best as well. So, there's no, I don't even know what to say to that anymore.
All right, well,
that's 5 years ago. Come on, we're still talking about that 5 years ago. You drafted him? No.
I'll throw out a few other things I'm hearing. And this is evident.
Please share.
The Royals won with pitching, speed, and defense. We can't dispute that. That's what they won with. I mean, the hitting for both teams was mostly silent. But the thing about
Exactly.
their staff, Reagans and Lugo were super, but I mean, this would have been a 500 baseball team if not for all the wins they accumulated over the season against the Chicago White Sox. They wouldn't have even been 500.
You know what? You think about that. And also, I want to give credit to Burns. I mean, I think Burns showed.
Absolutely.
I think Burns showed, obviously he's going into free agency. He showed Baltimore fans, hey, I mean, you give him 2 runs, he wins the game. Obviously, you give him 2 runs, who knows how the game goes. But if you give him 2 runs, he wins the game.
Yeah.
In hypotheticals. But he showed everybody. So his price just went ching ching, especially being player of the month. So yeah, he's gonna be expensive. But I like it. I like that a lot. And you're mentioning about
the pitching, the speed, the defense.
Yes.
But
you have to those are things, but I'm saying
100 loss team a year ago.
Right. When you make contact, all those things are possible.
Yeah.
When you strike out, the defense doesn't have to play defense. It's pretty easy to not have defense. But you also mentioned that about playing the White Sox. And unfortunately, the schedule is the schedule. You know, when the Orioles played the A's early in the season, the Rays early in the season, the White Sox, and they just bombarded them just like everybody else did. Actually, the A's fought back, and the A's had, I think, a lot better year than anybody could have ever expected. The White Sox were the one that just really did not have a good year. It's part of your schedule. I think, when you seen, it was like the last 10 days of the schedule, when you seen the Tigers had the White Sox at home for 3. I think Minnesota's like, dang, we have to win. That's added pressure for them. I mean, they really didn't do well at the end of the year. You have just other teams that know, hey, these are at least 2 wins for the Tigers. Obviously, I'm not no discredit to the men that are going to fight for the White Sox, but this is at least 2 wins for you, especially at this moment. And the Detroit crowd came out. You haven't seen them in a while. I played games with the Detroit crowd. They are a great crowd, and they have not been out and about and around. So, pizza to them. It's been a really good year for them, and it's great that they're going to get a playoff game. They're going to get to host game 3 and 4, or at least game 3. We don't know about 4 yet. That's always if necessary, but as a baseball fan, you like to see things like this. There's 3 teams in AL Central, which means that the White Sox, this is the White Sox fault in a way, because, they all, I don't even know the records individually against the White Sox in the Central, those teams against them, but it's evident that they're in the playoffs. So a lot of their wins came from them, and it's cool. But what sucks about it is that if you're looking at it in the big picture, the Yankees have a pretty good path to the damn World Series. No discredit to the teams ahead of them. The Tigers. Hey, I hope the Tigers beat the hell out of them. I hope the Tigers beat the hell out of them.
Well, no, next up they face Kansas City.
Royals. I'm sorry, the Royals. I hope the Royals beat the hell out of them. Yeah. And I hope that
get to the rest of the baseball playoffs coming up a little bit. I want to get back to the Orioles stuff. I want to get your reaction again to this approach at the plate, and does it need to be altered going forward? Because we saw a lot of what we saw in the 2 games during the second half of the season, swinging away at the first pitch, swinging for the fences, striking out a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. Is one way got me there. So do I change the way that I got here? Yes and no to that. Obviously, you don't change your aggressive approach. Maybe you bring it back a little bit. They always say, maybe you got to see more pitches. And I always talk about the series with the Tigers in 2014. You get Scherzer, Verlander, and Price, last 3 Cy Young Award winners. You're not beating them. Impossible to beat the crap out of them. You can't. Only way to beat them in our meetings, we said, look, it's simple. You got to grind these guys out. If we can get these guys at 115, 120 pitches, because that's when those guys are going 120 pitches, okay? You got to get them in 5. If you let them get into the 7th inning, you're done. We got those guys out within the 6th inning, and we were able to get a scratching claw against them and then tear the bullpen's ass apart, because no pitcher No, they have 3 pitchers better than those 3 pitchers. So, in the playoffs, it is a little bit different. And, again, but I would say what approach got me there? Why would I change that? And then part of it is, if the pitcher's just attacking the zone and throwing strikes all day, you kind of don't have a choice. Like Corbin was pounding the strike zone all day against him. That's why he was able to go 8+ innings. That was the longest outing of the season, because he was pounding the zone. The other team has no choice to swing. If you don't swing, you're 0-2. Well, damn. And that's when it sucks too, because you get in your second at bat or something. It's like, okay, let me grind that bat. And then it's the first pitch strike. You're like, damn. Next pitch is a curveball or a slide or something, and you foul it off. You're like, damn, I'm back in this hole again. Then you're back in an uncomfortable. And then the next guy's like, I don't want to be 0-2. It's when the guy is pounding the zone like that, and especially has plus stuff, which both those starters have, all the starters in the series did. There's like, what's the pattern that you do? Or you just take pitches? Because if you just sit there, like I always say, be patient. What's patient when he's pounding in the zone? I can't be patient, because if I'm patient, I'm 0-2.
More coming up on the Adam Jones Podcast, but first a word from our sponsors. The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by our friends at the Weinman Company. Everyone knows Greenmount Station in Hampstead, but did you know that at Greenmount Station you can bet 7 days a week just like you're at the track? With in-person teller windows and state-of-the-art touchscreen kiosks. And with Greenmount Station's brand new Bet Park Sportsbook, you can bet on all other sports as well, wherever you are in Maryland. Spreads, money lines, live bets, props, parlays, and teasers. The Bet Parks Maryland mobile app is now live for Apple and Android devices, so you'll never miss your next big score. Just search for BetParks MD in the Apple App Store or on Google Play. And for a limited time, 21 and over Adam Jones podcast listeners can get a $75 gift card to Greenmount Station simply for opening a new account with promo code GMS and a minimum $50 initial deposit. $75 gift card for new users in Maryland only. 21 and over only. Please play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by Jimmy's Famous Seafood, Charm City's favorite crab cake destination. Local sports fan? Experience the ultimate pregame party at the tailgate. Cheer on the Ravens with iconic live performances, an open bar, and mouth-watering eats. Can't make it? No worries. Bring the same food that caught the attention of the Food Network right to your doorstep. Shipping East Coast recipes nationwide. Jimmy's Famous Seafood is the official sponsor of the guests appearing on the Adam Jones Podcast.
Take me out to the ball game.
Take me out with the crowd.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
I don't care if I never get back.
Marylanders are adding a 7th-inning stretch to their day with fast play home run riches from the Maryland Lottery. You could win a progressive jackpot instantly and enter to win cash for Orioles home runs.
It's my new ball game.
Hey, it's savings season at Lido Pizza. 99-cent refreshing iced teas all summer, or $6 calzones every Tuesday. There are tons of new deals and rewards for everyone. Proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles, Baltimore Ravens, and the Adam Jones Podcast. Lido Pizza, a local legend since 1955. Exclusively at LidoPizza.com or on the Lido Pizza app.
How about the impact of, and we haven't discussed this on the podcast, we have off the podcast, so this will be interesting. The impact of moving back the left field wall. Jordan Westberg hit a ball in game 1 that would have left the old Camden Yards. It's the same for both teams. I get it, but I think it has cost the Orioles.
There's a double-edged sword too. It has cost the Orioles, but it's cost the Orioles and helped the Orioles, but I think it's starting to maybe teeter to hurting. Maybe, I don't know, because our pitching's improved so much to where the old pitching staffs that, some of the pitching staffs that went through there was some balls was launched. Some balls were launched. And so we get 81 games there. It doesn't affect us because we know that, okay, we got a really good left fielder. The last week with Hayes and Kowser playing tremendous left field out there since they moved the wall back. Like, we have that advantage in that point, and we know how to play it. But then we also have 81 games offensively, and we got some hairy dudes that's trying to drive the ball out there also, and it hinders us in that way too. So it's a double-edged sword. Do you consistently change your approach and say, I just have to take the ball to left center and over all the time? No, because you have to pull the ball. It's pullable balls. You have to pull it. I just think it's a double-edged sword. I think when when your pitcher gives up a hanger and you hear that sound off Judge's bat and the dude is at the warning track catching it, I think you're happy. You're like, thank you. And then you're very frustrated when your dude does the same thing.
Yeah.
Because your guy's going to probably do it more often than Judge because you only see him with 6-7 games at this place when you get 81. So it's the double-edged sword. And I mean, I know I wouldn't have liked it because I would go back and see some of my home runs. I'm like, I like just try to measure up like, okay, that one would have left. The bullpen, I already had the bullpen and then over the other side, but just, I don't know. Some of them line drives might have.
They always seem to have a stat. They always seem to have a stat. The announcers saying that would have left every ballpark,
but this one.
But this one, yeah.
Oh my gosh! Come on, and again, the park. It's called park adjusted, and you know what? I'm not in that park, and it's a thing with baseball too. With that, when the wind is blowing out, everybody hits ground balls, and when the wind's blowing in, everybody hits fly balls. Baseball gods are up there, and they are for real.
I'll tell you what, I am sick and tired of losing to Kansas City. They ended the Ravens season. They end the Orioles season. They ended your season. Oh, I mean, we love Bob Kendrick, and I love
Bob Kendrick.
I love the barbecue in Kansas City, but I'm sick of their teams, with all due respect.
And you know, with all due respect is right. I mean, they have some great franchises. They're moving in the right direction. I got a good friend, Jesse, who just texts me and wearing me out about everything. We have some inside wagers and going on about things. So he's going to come out to Spain, and I owe him a good time out here. So
you didn't win that.
I didn't win that wager, but it's okay. I get to see my boy out here on my turf, so it's always good. But hey, especially in football, you got to beat them. You got to beat the man on the hill, and Mahomes is the man on the hill. And if you don't beat him, you don't dethrone him, then you don't. You can't tell me nothing. It's the same with the Astros are out, so you got to. Who else? This is wide open for everybody now.
Oh, we're going to talk about
the Royals.
That.
Yeah, and the Royals have a path also.
That's ahead in For the Birds segment. We'll talk about that, the rest of the playoffs, and what the Orioles do next. The last thing I wanted to address here in this segment, brought to us by our friends at Jimmy's Famous Seafood, the attendance or lack thereof. I mean, either game was sold out. The left field upper deck was completely empty, 38,698, one of the lowest attended playoff games in the history of Camden Yards. And the fact that it was a school day and the sun never showed up, to me, is not an excuse.
And you know what? It's always tricky when you say that with fans.
And I don't pay. The caveat is I don't pay to get in.
Understandable. But I always say this is that the fans always want a good product on the field. We can talk in commerce. That makes people feel better. You want a good product on the field. The Cinnamon Toast Crunch is hitting right now. It's not just frost. It's not just cornflakes. Okay. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is hitting right now.
Interesting analogy. I like that.
You know what I mean? So you gotta support it. You have, when the team is doing good, you have to support it. I know it's a school day, and there's always things with the times and things like that to get people in the ballpark, and it's always funky because TV wants to get their rights to seeing, getting their fans to see the whole game. I think some people would want it more, closer to like NCAA in a way, how, they are, 30 minutes or like 20 minutes apart to where you get the back and forth flipping to the channel, which in theory you still get the same thing. I think, I go back and forth just like everybody else. So I think I'm viewing everything. It's always just, you appreciate the people that come. Yeah, that's one thing. Everybody. Yeah.
Maybe if they had a giveaway, everyone would have shown.
No, but it's the playoffs. I mean, you appreciate everybody that comes. It's just you wish that everybody was there. Sometimes, sometimes the mayor, I should have hit him up, told him, hey, man, you should have added, get that waiver to get out of school. Everybody can get out of school early at 1:00 that day.
They did do something like that. I can tell you, if I was a 12-year-old, I wouldn't have been in school.
I would have loved. Oh no, but I mean, it was a 4:00 game. I think that's adequate time to get down to the ballpark. But again, it's early in the year, but it's early in the school year. But you want a good. You fans always say they want a good product on the field. You have a really good product on the field in the playoffs. There's you in the gauntlet. It's not the middle of the summer anymore. It's not September anymore. Obviously, September Attendance always dips down because of school. We know that. That is just actual data. But the playoffs, that's when we need you the most. And now I'm speaking as a player. That's when we need you in them seats, screaming, them towels going. It's wild. Obviously, you got other places that are just sold out all throughout the Wild. San Diego, their attendance is the number one in baseball. Them and the Dodgers, obviously.
They're unbelievable. Here's the thing, AJ, is the fans that were there were loud. They were boisterous.
Of course.
The Orioles got to give you a reason to cheer. You can only be boisterous for so many innings without anything being produced.
That's true. You have to give them a reason to scream. You have to. And that's why CC told me. He said, hey, anything that starts a rally, man, you got to get on base. If you get on base, it starts a rally in the playoffs, because once the fans get going, it is not like a golf clap. It's the playoffs. Whoever's there, everybody starts to stand up like immediately. 2 strikes, we stand up. 2 out, we stand up. It's a different vibe. And it sucks. It's unfortunate. Again, we always talk about it. It's very, very hard. But you do have to give the fans a reason to stand up, and they want to so bad. They want to erupt. They wish it was hit after hit after hit after hit after hit. And just unfortunately, it wasn't. But you know what? I still think the Orioles' future is extremely bright. Obviously, there's some things they got to address, but I think the future is very, very bright, and they still have a fantastic core.
It's a great segue into our next segment. We head to For the Birds, sponsored by our friends over at the Maryland Lottery. Hey, when you play the Maryland Lottery, set limits, never play when you're stressed, and know your odds of winning. To learn more, just visit mdlottery.com/play responsibly, and you must be 18 years or older to play. All right, let's address the next step for the O's. The only thing we know is they're going to gather in spring training in Sarasota in mid-February. They'll open their season against Toronto March the 27th in 2025. The home opener is March 31st against the Red Sox. However, the offseason, I don't believe they can just stand pat despite 91 victories. To me, they need to be looking for another right-handed hitter. We don't know what's going to happen with Santander. We don't know what's going to happen with McCann. I think Mountcastle's arbitration eligible. And also, if they lose Burns, they obviously need another starter, AJ.
Yeah. I mean, this offseason obviously is very, very crucial. We all know that. But I think that we have a new owner that knows that and that is well aware of it. And I think is going to make a splash. I don't think Mr. Rubenstein and group will be silent this offseason. I think they will make a splash. I think they will be smart and sign some in-house guys. But I think they will make a splash and get the guys that they deem fit this team. But I think they're going to spend some money and significant money. I don't think it's going to be, 100, 200 million. I think it's going to be 500, 600 million. And that's just a guess. I think they're going for the gusto because why not? I think this is your window. You got some top of the line starters out there. The ownership is said that they want to win. Obviously, taking over a new team in the middle of the season, you can't just do whatever you want to do. It's not just just like buying something. You buy a franchise. It's a lot of paperwork, a lot of red tape. But this offseason, they have full control and understanding what's going on. I think they're going to do something sexy. And I hope. And again, I'm not an employee. I'm just somebody who is a fan and understand a philosophy that Mr. Rubenstein is trying to bring over there. He said that I want to win.
Yep.
He clearly said that I want to win. I want to bring a championship home. 192
games the last 2 years, except
I want to bring
postseason.
I want to bring it, but he said that I want to bring a championship home. And the way to bring a championship home is you got to get some guys. You got to go. You have to. Especially at this point. I think Baltimore is lurable now. Some years ago, it wasn't as lurable as it is now. So I think maybe some stronger names, stronger guys up on the free agent list may say, hey, let me take a look over here. Because, again, you had guys like Gibson, Lyles, and Burns who have played in Baltimore, and guys talk. Guys are like, hey, Baltimore's over, we're talking, and, how was it over there? And if that conversation gets to Burns or gets to a Gibson, they'd be like, bro, that city's amazing. Like, this fan base is this, the players, like, that could lure somebody in there too. It's not just going off the internet and all this kind of stuff. You get us. So there's a big group on the inside. And I think that Baltimore has created itself to be a lot more lureable than in past years. And I'm as a fan, I'm really excited for it. If I become an employee, I can't tell you what's going on. But as a fan, I hope they really do make a splash, and I believe they will. Just based on the words of a man who has been very successful in his trade.
No doubt. They have the resources. There's no excuse why they shouldn't be proactive here in the offseason. All right, let's move on and take a glance at the rest of the MLB postseason, the divisional round. To me, look, let's overall view. I mean, as we speak today, and we'll react to what Mike Elias and Brandon Hyde had to say during next week's podcast for everyone paying attention. But to me, it seems like the three best teams are all in the National League, and in no particular order: the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Phillies.
I mean, you got to include the Yankees, obviously. But
yeah,
but I'm saying that you look at on this side, the AL. Again, I'm not nothing against the Tigers, the Royals, or the Guardians, but the Yankees. I think if we're just going, I think are the superior team, and I think they have a better path. If you go in percentages, I think they have a better path to get to the World Series. On the other side, I mean, the Padres, Dodgers, that series is going to be electric. You know they have bad blood.
That's
personal.
It began in Korea this year.
This year they began in Korea. Now they're taking it all the way back to LA. It's personal in that series. Obviously, two cities that are 2 hours away from each other, but we don't like each other. Okay, we're two different parts of SoCal, and that's a personal series, and I'm going to be watching that intently. Then you have, depends. I mean, it could be whoever has to face the Brewers, or I'm sorry, who has to face the Phillies. Good luck. Phillies are loaded, and to me, when someone asks me whose year is it, I say it's them because they're complete now. I think they have a strong back end of the bullpen, which was always a factor for the Phillies. Their starting pitching is great, obviously fantastic. Their offense is great. Their defense is really good. It's improved. It's helped that Harper's at first base. He's a pretty solid first baseman. You're allowing Schwarber just to hit. Castellanos playing 162, a fantastic defender. They're the team right now. I think that baseball is saying, okay. And on the other side, baseball is excited as hell to see Shohei Ohtani on the biggest stage. Finally, we get to see Shohei Ohtani in October. And that is what the baseball world wants. You see the ads already in Japan about the postseason. So what's going on now is baseball, you're talking about growing the game. 100+ million people will be able to watch the game in Japan and in Korea and in Taiwan due to the fact of having multiple cultured players on their team. So you're talking about expanding the game. Now the world gets to see Shohei Ohtani on the playoff format. And I think, again, as a fan, I like to speak as a fan because I really, really do enjoy baseball. It's going to be fun to watch. But he's going against my Padres, so I mean, you know how about as a fan how I really feel. So it's going to be a fun series. But I think
talk to him now in Japanese. He's going to watch. No, I'm just kidding. Well, you're going to be our World Series correspondent, so you may be catching up with either Manny or Shohei at the fall.
I would love to.
All right, let's venture beyond Baltimore, a national and sometimes international perspective. It's all brought to you by our friends at Relief Medical Marijuana Dispensary, where they go above and beyond to help you, the patient. Let's begin with the sudden death of the hit king, Pete Rose, who agreed to a lifetime ban from Major League Baseball back in 1989 while managing the Cincinnati Reds. Thoughts on his career on and off the field? A very complicated career to me, Adam. Did you ever have a chance to meet Charlie Hustle in person? Tell us about him.
I mean, first of all, he played the most games ever. He has the most hits ever. You're talking about playing the most games ever. You know, that's a lot of games. I talked to Eddie Murray. Eddie Murray played 3,000 games. This dude played 4,000 games. Like, that's a lot of games. I respect what he did between them lines. I mean, he's a fantastic player, fantastic teammate from all the stories I heard. And I did get to meet him in 2006. He obviously lived in Vegas, and he was doing a signing at Caesar's Palace.
Yep.
And I was in AAA at the time, and I heard about it. So I'm like, we had an off day in AAA. So I went to Caesar Palace, and I told him, hey, man, I'm in AAA. And
did you have to wait in line for an autograph?
No, I told the PR person, whoever was there, I was like, hey, I'm a baseball player. And just told him my story. He said, oh, yeah, come on. And I sat down and just talked to him while he was doing his autographs, and just got to talk to him for about 30 minutes. And he was just a young man, keep grinding, do this. And he said, one thing, those 0 for 5s, you can't have those. There's too many damn at-bats to have no hits. 0 for 4s, they happen. I get that. But if you get 0 for 5, damn it, you better get a hit. The 0 for 5, you can't have that many damn at-bats in the game and no hit. And I'm just like, yes, sir, you're damn right. So, I mean, you took it. I'm a 20-year-old kid who understood what was going on with obviously the bad side of it. But as a baseball savant at that age, wow, this dude right here raked. I talk about hitting, hit the ball in front, do this. And like, you look at his batting stance. Was it pretty? No, but it showed you that it's more than one way to skin a cat. And it was a great, intimate 30 minutes. I've ran into him a couple other times at other MLB dinners and stuff like that. And he was just always want to talk baseball. Like, he was, so I'm sure when he passed, he was surrounded around his guys with Perez and his old teammates and stuff like that. And I bet they were talking about baseball. You know what I mean? It's just the way that they are, the way that they were. And, not many people, like I said, they always say not many people were built like that. Ain't no one built like Pete Rose in that regards. The other stuff, obviously, betting on baseball is obviously a no-no. And obviously we have the rules now that are pretty tight-knit on it. And still, some people in other sports still do it because they think they're invincible. But, like, they really tell you, like, you can't bet on this sport. Bet on everything else except your sport.
Yeah.
Any other. Fishing, angling. Bet on the America's Cup. Doesn't matter. Just can't bet on your sport.
But when you're the manager of the team and you're making,
still can't do that. Well, you can't bet on the sport that employs you. Can't board it. It's rules. It's simple rules, and you can't bet on the sport that employs you. And I thought you got to go back at those times. What was going on, in Philly and in Cincinnati? Because let's not forget, Cincinnati was a baseball powerhouse. You're not too far from Chicago. Who runs Chicago?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna speak. I don't want them coming after me. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are things that if you're really able to dig deep and tell the stories and all that kind of stuff, that stuff runs deeper and deeper and deeper than you can ever imagine. But I'm never gonna disrespect the man. He's our hit king. Always will be our hit king. And I hope that post-mortem, his family gets to enjoy him in the Hall of Fame. Obviously, he won't. But I hope that he goes. I believe that he'll go in the Hall of Fame. I don't know when, but I think that one day his family and his grandchildren in that Rose name will go into the Hall of Fame. I hope. Just as a baseball fan, we knew it wasn't going to happen while he was alive. I think that was the petition. There were so many petitions, but I think just my personal feeling. I think that he will go in, some point later in the future, and his family get to enjoy it.
He agreed to the punishment in 1989. He signed off on it. And I have a similar story as you do about meeting Pete Rose. One time in my 20s, I was in Atlanta, young whippersnapper coming up. It was 1989. It was when he was accused of betting on the Reds. The Reds were at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. I asked Pete for an interview before the game, and he used me. And I was glad he did. I sat down with him for 25 minutes in the dugout before the game as the national media was waiting to speak to him about betting on baseball. They're standing there watching us do this interview, looking at their watches, and we go right up, and he did this purposefully, right up until the point where he wasn't able to talk anymore, where he had
no way.
So I got 20
pretty
minutes
awesome
with him on something, kids, it was called a cassette back then. You'll have to Google it. So it's on. And I just remember how angry those baseball writers were at me after he was. You really needed him for 25 minutes? I was like, he just kept talking. What do you want me to do?
Players know. They're like, people know what they're doing. And again, that ball right there is obviously always there's some stains on the game. That is one, but he's our hit king, and I think that he'll go in the Hall of Fame later.
We will see. All right, let's go from a gambler to a cheater, and I wanted to ask you about playing golf with Chip Franklin in San Diego. Were there any highlights?
Hey, Chip's short game. He knows what he's doing inside that 100 yards. The only thing is that he's playing with some young dudes, and we got some big backs. So we're driving the ball. We're clearing all the fescue. We're clearing all the danger. But from 100 in, he knows what he's doing. But he plays. Again, this is the rule of golf. It takes 4 holes to warm up. Took him 4 holes to warm up because he just showed up. He was dealing with some things. So he just showed up. And this is a course where you can't just show up. You need to go to the range, okay? You can't just show up at this course. But he plays getting old man golf. I can't call him old man. Getting old man golf. Plays down the middle. So he's sitting there. You look up. He's putting for par because his 3 shots were right down the damn middle. Me, I'm just like trying to muscle. He's just like, And then when he got in the back 9, he started to talk a little bit more smack. And my boy Alejandro was like, okay. And then Alejandro in par 3s just shut us all up. But no, it was a great time out there. My boy took some great pictures of us. We had great conversation. We got 4.5 hours on Del Mar Country Club. Are you kidding me? Absolutely beautiful course. No one was out there. And you're talking these multi-million-dollar houses. Fantastic. Like literally no one was out there. And you know me, I take big divots. And we had a great time. There was a couple of dogs on the course and people golfing with their dogs and stuff like that. So, no, we had a fantastic time.
More to come on the Adam Jones podcast after these messages. Effective Solutions, your one-stop shop for commercial contracting. Everything from excavation and site development to emergency remediation and restoration. Effective Solutions specializes in many forms of commercial and mixed-use construction. With a dedicated staff and a commitment to quality, Effective Solutions delivers every time. There are a lot of ways to make whiskey, but there's only one way to make Jack Daniels. At Jack Daniels, they charcoal mellow every drop, only using water from Cave Spring Hollow in Tennessee. When you make your own label, you make everything else yours too. But we don't need to tell you that, do we? Make it count. Jack Daniels. Please drink responsibly. Tennessee whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniel Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels and Old No. 7 are registered trademarks. 2022. Jack Daniels. All rights reserved. The Adam Jones podcast welcomes Relief Shop. Shop Maryland's largest adult use and medical cannabis menu located at 1114 Cathedral Street in Baltimore, with medical delivery available throughout Maryland 7 days a week, only at Relief Shop.
Your fun awaits at Hollywood Casino Perryville. Feed the whole crew with something for everyone, from cheesesteaks to crab cake sandwiches. Plus, ask how you can get a $15 dining credit. Get in on the gaming action with the hottest slots and your favorite table games like blackjack, roulette, and poker. Free live shows every Friday and Saturday. Come experience non-stop fun and excitement only at Hollywood Casino Perryville.
Hey Baltimore, Monument City Brewing has been crafting the best beer in Maryland since 2014. Located at 1 North Haven Street in Baltimore, you've seen us at the ballpark. Now drop by our tasting room. Open Thursday through Sunday with events, music, and great food trucks. And this year we are honored to collaborate with Adam Jones and the Adam Jones podcast with Simply AJ Ballpark IPA, available throughout the baseball season. It's going to be a great year, Baltimore. Visit us online at monumentcitybrewing.com or follow us on Instagram at Monument City Brewing. Keeping Baltimore safe is an incredibly important job, and protecting those who keep us safe is equally important. The Baltimore Police Department leads the nation in supporting its officers with innovative wellness programs, free fitness classes, counseling services, citywide discounts, and more. Right now, the BPD is hiring. Join now and receive a $10,000 signing bonus upon swearing in. Build a meaningful career in public safety with the BPD and get the support you need to serve Baltimore effectively. Apply now at bpdrecruit.org. It's the perfect time to check out a spacious and reliable new Toyota SUV, like a RAV4, with available all-wheel drive and plenty of cargo space. You'll go from errands to adventures in no time. Plus, available features like wireless charging will keep you connected. Or check out a Highlander with seating for up to 8. It's a hub for family adventure. Your Toyota dealer is getting new vehicles in stock regularly, so don't wait. Find deals on a RAV4 or Highlander at buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And now back to the Adam Jones podcast.
All right, good. Let's move on to Socially Speaking. This is the portion of the podcast where we answer a post on X or any social media platform, and you earn a chance to win a $50 gift card from Lido Pizza. Lido Pizza, proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles and the official pizza of the Adam Jones podcast. We're all over social media at Adam Jones Pod, at Adam Jones Pod. You can see it if you're watching us on YouTube, and you should be. So this past week, you asked a question on X, Adam, about what were the fan favorite moments of the mid-2010 teams. We got a few replies I wanted to reel off. One from Madison at 11 Epps on X wrote, 2012 is my favorite Orioles team of all time. First time in almost a decade and half in the postseason. The one-run extra inning record plus the victory against the Mariners up against the Morning News plus beating Texas. Not sure what all that formula means, but I think.
Oh, you don't remember that? Oh, man.
Oh, I remember beating Texas.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Texas. The game in Seattle. Taylor Teagarden. It was like 18-inning game or 16-inning game or something. 18-inning game. Yeah, in Seattle. And it was like, dude, we just played 2 games followed by a day game the next day. And see, those are the little games, especially. We were a wild card team on the road. That means those games, we had those are the reasons why we're there. And I say this, the guys, the dudes are the dudes. There's always going to be dudes. And I was fortunate enough to be a dude. So my number's going to be with the dudes. The reason why we made it to the postseason, Taylor Teagarden, he had 8 hits. 6 of them were game-changing hits.
I forgot about that. You're right.
Ubaldo Jimenez, second half of 16, he was 7-2. No matter what it was, the first 3.5 years, which was crap. That he was 7-2 in the second half of 2016. That's why we're in the playoffs. And again, the lasting memory is him giving a home run, but he's the reason why we were even in that situation. And that's why I love when people bring up little small tidbit games. It makes me go back to my memory bank and be like, that's the reason why we were there. It wasn't the game where we hit 5 home runs. No, it was the game that we hit none and probably had 4 hits, but two big hits in the extra innings, something like that.
All right, the next one and the final one came from StatLogic Sports at G_loves winning on X. Quote,
sure you do.
I still watch the Delman Young hit whenever I need a little pick-me-up just to see that stadium excited, hear the noise, and watch how the players responded. That's what it'll be like here for the next 5 years minimum, and that's how it used to be all the time. Yeah, that was too long ago. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I love that statement, and I love that he knows that this team is good, not just for these last 2 years, but for the foreseeable future. That moment was insane. Story to this. So if you know Delman Young, you know. If you know him, you know. So
yeah.
I know. He did an interview after the game, and do you know what he said? He said, "So Delman, how'd you prepare for this moment and all that kind of stuff?" He's like, I was just on Instagram. What? He's sitting there watching the game, sitting there on Instagram watching the game. But if you know him, you know he was always prepared. Always prepared. And that's one thing I always knew. So when he came up in that situation, man, let's go. Let's see what Delman's gonna do. And you got everything fit perfectly. JJ had an extra secondary. He scored by this much? Like small things, cutting the corners, cutting the bases right. The bobble by Martinez is also like if Martinez gives a clear throw, he's out at home. He doesn't. It's so many different factors in that. In that moment right there, I think that's the loudest moment I've heard Camden Yards ever be. And I think those
type of breaks. Yeah. This year. I mean, I want to go back real quickly. We never even mentioned this, but they had a chance there during that inning where the bases were loaded. Clouser gets hit while swinging at a pitch and is called out strikes despite fracturing his wrist.
Broke his hand. Yeah, he swung. Unfortunately, that sucks. And we talked about it with Trumbo when he swung at the pitch and they hit him on the leg and he struck out. And he's like, "Yeah, Jonathan." So when I seen that, I texted him and I'm like, "Bro." And again, people are saying that rarely happens. I've seen the people's tweets. That's the stupidest at-bat average. That's a horrible at-bat. That is the most unintelligent at-bat average. What? Did you see the pitch before that? It was a bastard curveball that he swung at. Like, dude, he's trying to stay in on this. He's thinking that he's going to throw another slider and stay in on this. Like, And that is not the only time that has happened. That's happened multiple times this year. Mm-hmm. So it's not an every single day occurrence, but it's definitely a high occurrence. It's unfortunate my man broke his damn hand though, man. Obviously it's the offseason now, so it's okay, but the rule's the rule. It sucks, but just hearing the comments about it, and I love what he said. He's like, "Hey, I feel like I let my team down." And you know what? You didn't. You can
the rookie of the
year. Yeah, you can be the rookie of the year. Fans will say, "Oh, yeah, you did." I'm like, bro, you're out there grinding your ass off. This lefty that you're facing, you see his numbers. Well, yeah, hey man, stay in on that slider, stay in on that curveball, just stay in on that, driving the left center field. Yeah, do that. Again, you're a major leaguer, you're super talented, so I always give that caveat. Yeah, we're way more talented in the outside world. Duh, we all know that. But it's harder than hell. And again, now you're getting guys that come in and throw harder and harder and harder, and you don't see them. He has no idea who this dude is. You can see him on video, but all these dudes throw harder and harder and harder. And another thing to this is the surplus of relievers. I got to face a lot of guys over a lot of years. Like I got to face Jabba Chamberlain a significant amount of times in my career. You know what I mean? I got to face Joaquin Soria a significant amount of times in my career. David Robertson. Like I got guys that I got lineage of facing with because of just longevity. But there's so much turnover now to where you can see a team even like the Royals. Their team was not the same team at the trade deadline. They made a lot of moves. They got a lot of waiver wires and so on and so forth. So you got to understand that you may have seen one team 2 months ago. You're going to see a whole completely different team now. And that's what baseball has seen. Baseball, the second half, with the Tigers too. They've seen a completely different team, a younger, youthful team. Same with them, with the Royals, they just came up and just started to smack people.
All right, we're going to have a lot more to say about the Orioles offseason and the baseball postseason. Adam will be traveling to the fall class just ahead. I know it's frustration. We do want to thank our loyal and dedicated sponsors. They power this podcast. Go out and support them.
The Adam Jones Podcast is brought to you by our friends at the Weinman Company. Everyone knows Greenmount Station in Hampstead, but did you know that at Greenmount Station you can bet 7 days a week just like you're at the track? With in-person teller windows and state-of-the-art touchscreen kiosks. And with Greenmount Station's brand new Bet Park Sportsbook, you can bet on all other sports as well, wherever you are in Maryland. Spreads, money lines, live bets, props, parlays, and teasers. The Bet Parks Maryland mobile app is now live for Apple and Android devices, so you'll never miss your next big score. Just search for BetParks MD in the Apple App Store or on Google Play. And for a limited time, 21 and over Adam Jones podcast listeners can get a $75 gift card to Greenmount Station simply for opening a new account with promo code GMS and a minimum $50 initial deposit. $75 gift card for new users in Maryland only. 21 and over only. Please play responsibly. For help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. The Adam Jones podcast is brought to you by Jimmy's Famous Seafood, Charm City's favorite crab cake destination. Local sports fan? Experience the ultimate pregame party at the tailgate. Cheer on the Ravens with iconic live performances, an open bar, and mouth-watering eats. Can't make it? No worries. Bring the same food that caught the attention of the Food Network right to your doorstep. Shipping East Coast recipes nationwide. Jimmy's Famous Seafood is the official sponsor of the guests appearing on the Adam Jones podcast.
Take me out to the ball game.
Take me out with the crowd.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
I don't care if I never get back.
Marylanders are adding a seventh-inning stretch to their day with fast play home run riches from the Maryland Lottery. You could win a progressive jackpot instantly and enter to win cash for Orioles home runs.
It's my new ball game.
Hey, it's savings season at Lido Pizza. 99-cent refreshing iced teas all summer, or $6 calzones every Tuesday. There are tons of new deals and rewards for everyone. Proud partner of the Baltimore Orioles, Baltimore Ravens, and the Adam Jones podcast. Lido Pizza, a local legend since 1955. Exclusively at LidoPizza.com or on the Lido Pizza app. Effective Solutions, your one-stop shop for commercial contracting. Everything from excavation and site development to emergency remediation and restoration. Effective Solutions specializes in many forms of commercial and mixed-use construction. With a dedicated staff and a commitment to quality, Effective Solutions delivers every time. There are a lot of ways to make whiskey, but there's only one way to make Jack Daniels. At Jack Daniels, they charcoal mellow every drop, only using water from Cave Spring Hollow in Tennessee. When you make your own label, you make everything else yours too. But we don't need to tell you that, do we? Make it count. Jack Daniels. Please drink responsibly. Tennessee whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Jack Daniel Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniels and Old No. 7 are registered trademarks. 2022. Jack Daniels. All rights reserved. The Adam Jones Podcast welcomes Relief Shop. Shop, Maryland's largest adult use and medical cannabis menu, located at 1114 Cathedral Street in Baltimore, with medical delivery available throughout Maryland 7 days a week, only at Relief Shop.
Your fun awaits at Hollywood Casino Perryville. Feed the whole crew with something for everyone, from cheesesteaks to crab cake sandwiches. Plus, ask how you can get a $15 dining credit. Get in on the gaming action with the hottest slots and your favorite table games like blackjack, roulette, and poker. Free live shows every Friday and Saturday. Come experience non-stop fun and excitement only at Hollywood Casino Perryville.
Hey Baltimore, Monument City Brewing has been crafting the best beer in Maryland since 2014. Located at 1 North Haven Street in Baltimore, you've seen us at the ballpark. Now drop by our tasting room. Open Thursday through Sunday with events, music, and great food trucks. And this year we are honored to collaborate with Adam Jones and the Adam Jones Podcast with Simply AJ Ballpark IPA, available throughout the baseball season. It's going to be a great year, Baltimore. Visit us online at monumentcitybrewing.com or follow us on Instagram at Monument City Brewing. Listeners, tell your friends. The Baltimore Police Department is hiring the next generation of officers. Starting salary is over $61,000. Plus, you'll receive an additional $10,000 signing bonus upon swearing in. Apply today to start your career in public safety. This is a great opportunity to serve the city you love and start a career that makes a difference in your community. Apply now at bpdrecruit.org. It's the perfect time to check out a spacious and reliable new Toyota SUV, like a RAV4, with available all-wheel drive and plenty of cargo space. You'll go from errands to adventures in no time. Plus, available features like wireless charging will keep you connected. Or check out a Highlander with seating for up to 8. It's a hub for family adventure. Your Toyota dealer is getting new vehicles in stock regularly, so don't wait. Find deals on a RAV4 or Highlander at buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Do want to thank senior executive producer Chip Franklin for putting this episode together. You know, Chip loves to play golf. We talked about it, but playing 18 holes with Chip is sort of like being trapped in a room with Chip for 18 hours. Go out and subscribe to the Baltimore Banner. Until next time, be real and be kind, and be back for another edition next week. It's the Adam Jones Podcast.